up this Friday, a growing number of women are taking their safety into their own hands, and we're looking into what's driving more of them to get concealed carry permits. And sitting in traffic, it's the absolute worst, and you may not realize just how much time you're wasting. We have a new reality check on that and what our cities need to do to help. And there are subscription services for everything these days, but this is one that's just reinventing the litter box and keeping the smell out of your home.
New tonight on the Now Indy, a tiresome problem, and quite literally, neighbors in Indianapolis' Irvington area are fed up with whoever is dumping countless tires along the street and yards and parking lots. You don't have to look too hard to see how dire the problem is. We found old tires scattered along the street. Neighbors say they have found tires not only in Irvington Plaza, but also along East Washington Street, Arlington Avenue, and Julian Avenue. They believe small automotive and tire shops in the area are hiring people to haul away the tires, but those people are just carelessly dumping them in the neighborhood. Neighbors want the city to investigate, and they want the tires removed.
I've been here for 9 years now, and I've never seen that in my life. And now I'm really starting to see it. The more tire concerns we have in the area, the smaller shops, the worse it's getting. So I hope the city gets down on them enough to get them to stop the bad habits they've got right now.
Working for you, our newsroom has placed calls to the city trying to figure out whose responsibility it is to haul away the tires and whether anyone could face legal consequences for littering or dumping. The city responded saying it is aware of the problem and investigating. We will be checking in with them again. Now, this month, Hiring Hoosiers is focusing on guiding people from the classroom to career. Whether driving in the car, exercising, or just hanging out with friends, there's a chance you may be listening to some music, and students in Indy are hoping to be added to your playlist one day. In the music and production program at J. Everett Light Career Center, students are learning all the aspects of the music industry. They use industry standard software to build their mixes and the albums they create for their end-of-the-year program. They also work on music composition, sound editing, and engineering while showing their creativity. With stiff competition, instructors remind students it's not an easy road to break into a successful career in music.
We emphasize that it takes passion, grit, very hard work, and determination, along with networking. Those things are just key, and I try to preach that all year long for those who are very, very interested.
Career opportunities include becoming a performer, sound tech, engineer, and producer. Students will earn certifications and college credits that will save them around $400.
You never know. We may be waiting for one of their album releases.
That would be exciting.
Last night, Amanda, was all about the Taylor Swift release at midnight.
True story.
So we've had more than a few famous musicians from Indiana, maybe a few more on the way. I love this picture. That's our live tower cam view of just some cumulus clouds. They have great curb appeal. Just about 4,000 feet above your head. They'll fade away this evening, and skies will go clear. Temperatures, they're comfortable, 77, below average for this time of year. There's your east wind and diminishing humidity. That will continue to offer temperatures in the 50s for a couple of mornings with the dry air, allowing temperatures to fall off quite a bit. The wind will stay about 5 to 10 miles per hour tonight. It will weaken a little bit. There are the temperatures that we wake up to. That's how we start the weekend, in the 50s, but lots of sunshine. Afternoon reading 71 at noon, 76 your afternoon high. The northeast wind 10 to 15 miles per hour. We'll talk about what happens Sunday and changes into early next week. The 4-day forecast will be unveiled shortly.
An update on a salmonella infection that experts say is resistant to multiple antibiotics. So there were 255 cases of people getting sick across more than half the country. 60 of those people ended up in the hospital between last summer and this spring. 2 people even died. The strain is called Salmonella Newport. And there was a related beef recall that actually happened last year. Now, this new report says the same strain of salmonella is likely in cattle from both countries. The Consumer Federation of America is raising concerns that under current food inspection rules, not enough can be done to prevent more of these outbreaks. It says safety regulators don't have authority to test at feedlots and stockyards where these types of infections are most likely to spread. The overuse of antibiotics in animals on farms may have contributed to the outbreak. It's these types of scenarios that infectious disease experts are working to stop with a new campaign centered around superbugs.
The campaign is really designed to grow awareness and then I think try to spur both the Congress and the administration to act on this issue while we still have time before it becomes a much more serious problem than what it is right now.
Greg Frank is the director of the Working to Fight AMR campaign. They estimate 162,000 Americans die each year from superbugs. Oftentimes it happens when people go to the hospital for routine surgeries or procedures and get an infection like MRSA. The campaign aims to reduce the overuse of antibiotics and to get more new drugs developed. But the problem there boils down to money.
A company called the Cajun, which received quite a bit of U.S. government support to develop an antibiotic that could treat drug-resistant infections, and it also was supported by the U.S. government because it had a use for bioterrorism, that it could be used in case of a biothreat attack. What happened, unfortunately, is the Cajun went out of business and went bankrupt earlier this year.
New drugs are expensive to develop, and they're not needed in high amounts right now, so companies are almost guaranteed to lose money. This new campaign is advocating for Congress to act on how companies are reimbursed for these drugs and to create incentives to develop more of them. Well, still ahead in our lineup, sitting in traffic is the absolute worst. I think we can all agree on that, but you may not realize just how much time you're wasting. We have a new reality check on that and what our cities need to do to help.
And make your home a drive-out home. DoorDash is making changes to its controversial tipping policy. The delivery company was criticized for putting customers' tips towards covering the base pay of drivers. DoorDash's CEO says it is going to increase the minimum base pay for delivery workers, and all tips will be added on top of that. Customers will also have the option to leave tips both before and after a delivery is made. The changes are expected to roll out next month.
We probably don't need to tell you this, but traffic isn't getting any better. Texas A&M's Transportation Institute found we're wasting on average 2.5 days a year crawling or idling in our cars. And in some places, it was nearly double that amount. Time and money just gone, about $1,000 a year even. The most telling part of the new research is that congestion is expanding geographically and outside of peak times.
One thing that we've really noticed is that this isn't necessarily a big city problem anymore. Certainly there's huge congestion growth in the big cities, but we're also seeing it in the smaller cities.
About a third of delays are happening during overnights and midday. Congestion has a lot of causes, and solutions have to go beyond adding roads and rails.
Looking at travel options, having different ways for people to get to where they want to go, investigating telecommuting or flex timing, and at some level, looking at how we develop the land so that as we develop, we can have all of our trips closer together, work, home, and play.
Congestion costs and times are expected to increase 20% over the next few years. Let's start the Now News feed. There's now an investigation in France linked to the Jeffrey Epstein case. The Paris prosecutor says it involves the assault of minors, among other charges. The investigation stems from communications the prosecutor had with American authorities. Well, concerns now about interest rates in the U.S. The chair of the Federal Reserve says trade wars have created issues. Says the feds will react as necessary depending on the impact the U.S. economy sees. This comes after the feds cut rates last month for the first time in a decade. Well, a new investigation surrounding the Jussie Smollett case, a judge has appointed a special prosecutor to look into why prosecutors dropped charges against the actor. Experts say this could mean that Smollett could face new charges in connection to an attack that he allegedly staged. More to get to in our lineup. More women are taking their safety into their own hands. We're looking into what's driving more of them to get concealed carry permits.
Test drive at Honda of Fishers.
The FTC is refunding customers who bought a FlexiPrin. Now, the agency says it was falsely marketed as a joint pain supplement. And according to the FTC, the company behind FlexiPrin paid a percentage of sales to someone who was presented as an objective medical expert. People who bought FlexiPrin can expect a refund of around $39.
We don't abuse our children at all.
And that's what I'm here.
We take very good care of our kids.
And I understand that. And that's what I'm here, just to talk to you guys, because I don't, this mean it.
You're not going to take our kids, are you?
looks like a real situation, right? But this is actually a simulation of what social workers go through. The Department of Child and Family Services in Illinois has hundreds of workers go through this hands-on training. And right now, it has 2 labs that look like homes that employees would visit. And now it has plans to recreate or create a 3rd lab so that they can train even more workers. The agency uses actors to paint the picture of some possibly uncomfortable situations that workers will have to go through.
It's not something that a teacher can tell you what to do. This is something you need to experience in order to get better and understand the job.
Those who go through the training are instructed to remain calm, only state facts, and avoid accusations. These types of trainings are relatively new in the field of child welfare. New Jersey, Kansas, and South Carolina have just recently started following Illinois' example. Agencies say the training isn't just beneficial in day-to-day scenarios. Child investigators who go through the training are less likely to burn out and leave the job.
We have a consumer warning for anyone buying a big TV, microwave, or refrigerator. Consumer reporter John Mattery shows us why it's so important to open that box immediately so you don't waste your money.
If you buy a big TV or appliance and it's damaged or defective, the store will take it back. But not always, it turns out. One woman was just told too bad, all because she waited too long to open the box. Valerie Merritt looks over the 4K TV she had planned to be the centerpiece of her living room until her handyman tried to hang it up.
He was putting up the bracket. I mean, you see, he had already gotten it in, and then he opened up the box.
The 2 of them couldn't believe what was inside.
I'm like, this thing is all crashed up in the front of it.
I carefully lifted the $400 TV from the box.
Oh, dear.
And sure enough, it was unusable. Just look at this TV. The crack goes up and down. Even the frame is bent. And judging by the dent in the box, this thing was damaged somewhere in transit. She purchased the TV at Best Buy through a rent-to-own partner program called Ownable US. But when she called, she got some bad news.
So I waited to open the television. They're not going to eat the cost.
So we checked Best Buy's return policy. It says you can return damaged items, no questions asked, but only during the first 15 days. 30 days if you're a Best Buy Elite member. It's broken. What did they tell you?
They said that I waited too long.
So we emailed all parties involved and were finally told Valerie could stop her monthly payments and return the TV with no shipping charges. But they could not give her a full refund because too much time had gone by.
Nobody ever told me that I had a time limit on opening the box or, because I could have been buying the television for a Christmas gift for someone.
Most appliance and TV retailers now have a 30-day policy on returns for damage. So even if you don't need it yet, open the box as soon as you get home so you don't waste your money. I'm John Mattery for RTV6.
And we're coming to the end of baseball season and the beginning of the playoffs. How about that? You're looking at Victory Field. That will come alive tonight. First pitch at 7:15, a little later than normal because it's Friday night. You know what that means. Fireworks. If you happen to be in the downtown area when the game ends, about 15 minutes afterwards, a good fireworks show will happen. Clear skies tonight, and the clouds that you see now will just fade away. Temperatures, they're headed to the 50s, not just tomorrow morning, but on Sunday morning as well. We'll call it dry and comfortable. You can choose whatever adjective you want to describe weekend temperatures that will stay below average. As you can see, all was calm right now at Victory Field. 77 in Indy, 78 in Bloomington. One of the cool spots there in Delaware County at 75 degrees. Second day in a row, temperatures have stayed in the 70s. Make it 3 in a row tomorrow. Cool in the morning, sunshine though. You see the slope of temperatures right back into the mid-70s. The breeze will be out of the east. Here, the high temperatures expected across central Indiana. Anywhere you're headed in the state tomorrow will be dry from north to south or west to east. A change on Sunday. We'll see a few more clouds come in and temperatures will be just a little bit warmer, 62 by the time we get to 9 a.m. We start in the 50s though. Late morning and early afternoon, noontime temperature of 74. Afternoon reading should touch 80, just depending on the amount of cloud cover that will come in. I think we hold off on any rain until later Sunday night. 4-day forecast you'll see here. Temperatures close to 80. Sunday still dry. The thunderstorms become likely on Monday, 79 degrees. Warmest in the near future, 82 on Tuesday.
Starting the Now news feed. The FAA is looking for pilots to test the new software for Boeing 737 MAX. This will be part of the recertification process for the plane involved in 2 deadly crashes. There is no set schedule in place at this time. A daycare in West Virginia is helping address the opioid epidemic. It caters specifically to children who are born exposed to drugs. Those babies can deal with multiple medical issues like twitching. And this daycare is believed to be the first of its kind in the country. Well, if you drive a Volkswagen, you better listen up to this. The company is recalling nearly 700,000 cars because they could roll away. The cars affected are the Jetta, Beetle convertible, the Golf Sports Wagon, and the GTI. This is for model years between 2011 and 2019. Well, more women are getting guns. In the last decade, the number of concealed handgun permits has increased 273% to over 17 million permit holders. 34% of those are women. Kai Beach looks at what's driving this.
With her finger on the trigger and her eyes on the target, Elena Stockton says she's working on her personal safety. Outside the gun range.
So this is a 6-bedroom house.
Stockton is a real estate agent.
An additional mother-in-law apartment in the basement.
She wants to make a sale.
Additional living space.
But more importantly, she wants to stay safe.
You can't rely on law enforcement. They can't be everywhere all the time.
To help keep her protected, Stockton's brokerage recently gave her these safety tips.
Make sure that if you were to escape by the back door, you could escape from the backyard.
And while she appreciates the advice, Stockton is now taking matters into her own hands by the way of a 9mm.
Yeah, I like both of those.
Stockton is practicing shooting a handgun.
It seems heavy.
So she can eventually carry it to her open houses.
What impact does training have on your career now and your safety in your career?
I think training, honestly, is the most important thing. It does give you a sense of safety, you know, in being, not just in real estate, but in being in public.
We're learning more women like Stockton are getting their concealed carry permits. In a recent study, the Crime Prevention Research Center found that between 2012 and 2018, the number of women in the United States with concealed carry permits increased by 207%.
You want something that's going to have what? Stopping power. And hollow points are not going to just try and go through you, they're going to go through all of you.
At the Guns for Everyone gun shop, they're holding a concealed carry class specifically for women.
Make sure there's no space, right there.
These women studying to get their concealed carry permits say they're motivated by everything from mass shootings to personal safety.
I've been in those situations. I don't want to feel like I can't do something. Even if something bad happens to me, I want to know that I tried to do something and I was able to at least try to help.
The owner of this gun shop, Edgar Antayun,
you can in fact carry there,
says these women-owning classes are growing in popularity with a 30% increase in just the past few weeks.
Recent events that have happened, El Paso, Ohio, a lot of people want to defend themselves. A lot of people sometimes get too lazy and complacent and wait till the last minute. And unfortunately, it takes an event like that to kind of push people over the edge to get the proper training.
So more women are getting more guns.
And put that underneath the trigger guard.
But does that make them more safe?
Point in a safe direction. Our only safe direction is downrange.
Antayun says if you pull a gun, you better be ready to use it. If not, well, you could have it used against you.
You need to know whether or not you have the mental capability of using this firearm.
I'm Kai Beach reporting.
Thanks, Kai. Well, the government is warning people about a new IRS scam. People are getting hit with emails from scammers pretending to be with the IRS. The subject line varies, but typically says something like income tax reminder or tax return reminder. The emails will have links to take you to a site that looks like the IRS website. It ends up having malicious files. The IRS says don't open these emails since they'll never send you emails about your tax refund. A reality check on today's proclamation of National Cheap Flight Day. Listen to this. It's the start of a curve in flight prices dropping because the busy summer travel season is ending, and now is a good time to book. Consumer Reports found between now and early September is when you tend to find the lowest holiday fares. Google Flights shows spikes in prices around October. Now, we talked to Miss Travel Guru Francesca Page, who said if you can plan even farther ahead, you can find even better deals now.
But you need to book between now and September 5th to get the best rates to travel between August 27th and June 30th of 2020. That's where we're seeing the most amount of flight deals.
Paige says if you see a cheap deal pop up, it's going to go quickly. And she recommended Hopper to track flight prices. Hopper also tracks hotel rates. Paige says you're also likely to find some last-minute deals to fly around Labor Day, which is next weekend. All right, finally in our lineup, there are subscription services for everything these days. But this is one anyone with a cat is really going to like. How it's reinventing the whole litter box thing and keeping the smell out of your home.